Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Wanted to talk to you today about housing grants from the VA. Yes, the VA provides grants, meaning that it's not a loan. It's granted money that you don't need to pay back for housing restructuring, remodeling, configuration stuff, all of that. I want to dive into it with you here. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really, really appreciate it. Every thumbs up, every minute watched really does help the channel. And if you want to support in other ways, consider being a member. I appreciate all you members very much. You can go to the homepage. You'll see the highlighted members and a join button. Thank you. All right, so housing grants. There's what brought this back to my attention. I've done videos on this in the past, but I figured it's been a while. Let's talk about it again. Share the new numbers and so forth. There's actually an article that came out or a news release from the VA, and I wanted to share that with you first and foremost. Then we'll jump into the nuts and bolts on some of the different types of housing grants that they give you. Now, let's dive into it here. The headline is VA's Specially Adapted Housing SAH program helps disabled veterans. This came out the beginning of July 2025, and sharing it with you here today. So it goes on here to say VA Specially Adapted Housing, that's the SAH program, helps veterans with disabilities, including those with spinal cord injuries and degenerative conditions such as Parkinson and ALS. Created in 1948. And again, look, I'm just going to go through this to give kind of the backdrop, and then we'll dive into the real stuff here. So created in 1948, the SAH program, there's different ones. There's SAH, there's SHA, it goes on. So let's go forward here. 1948, the SAH program administers grant funding to eligible veterans and service members with certain severe service-connected disabilities such as the loss of use of limb, loss of limb, or blindness. The grant program helps disabled veterans to buy or build a permanent home to provide independent living, adapt a home they or their family members already own, or adapt a home where they are temporarily living. SAH issued 2,352 grants totaling more than $147 million in 2024. In 2024, they've issued 2,352 grants, and that totaled $147 million in 2024 alone. When a veteran's grant application is approved, the SAH team works closely with them to ensure all home improvements meet their needs. In recent years, SAH grant eligibility expanded to include veterans with degenerative conditions that were caused or worsened by their military service. Studies show that veterans are diagnosed at a higher rate than non-veterans with some degenerative conditions like Parkinson's and ALS. SAH can also be used by veterans and service members living internationally. So if you're a severely disabled veteran, applying for SAH grant to buy, build, or renovate a permanent home in Europe, Asia, or anywhere else in the world, the SAH team will support them every step of the way. Currently, 48 active international cases are supported, including veterans living in Finland and Germany. When the SAH team works on projects overseas, they often overcome foreign challenges, currency exchange rates, time zone differences, and language barriers. But the team remains committed to honoring the service of those most deserving disabled veterans and service members. In the Philippines, one severely disabled veteran was recently approved for an SAH grant, and the team coordinated with the home builder he selected. Throughout the construction process, they worked with the veteran and his family to ensure the newly constructed home met all of his needs. After his new home was built, his family no longer had to carry him down 2 flights of stairs, and his quality of life greatly improved. Since the program's inception 77 years ago, more than 53,500 SAH grants were awarded, totaling $2.2 billion. These transformative enhancements have improved thousands of veterans' lives. These improved adaptations have increased mobility in their homes, expanded their access to community resources, and enabled them to connect more with family and friends, fostering a sense of belonging and everyday normalcy in their lives. To learn more, we're going to jump into this other thing, but you can always visit the VA's website. So I'm going to dive into the more piece now. So if you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do so. This is a great program for veterans out there that are really in need of some adaptation to their existing home or or building a home or buying a home. So anyway, let's jump into it here. Disability housing grants for veterans. So the VA, offer housing grants for veterans and service members with certain severe service-connected disabilities so they can buy or change a home to meet their needs and live more independently. Changing a home might involve installing ramps or widening doorways. Find out if you're eligible for a disability housing grant and how to apply. Grant eligibility for a permanent home, your permanent home. Can you get SAH, that's Specially Adapted Housing Grant, SAH. You may be able to get an SAH grant if you're using the grant money to buy, build, or change your permanent home, a home you plan to live in for a long time. And you meet both of these requirements. There's 2 bullet points here. You own or will own the home. So you're purchasing, building, or you already own it. And you have a qualifying service-connected disability. So it has to be those 2 things. Qualifying service-connected disabilities include loss of use of more than 1 limb. The loss of use of a lower leg, along with the residuals, lasting effects of an organic natural disease or injury. Blindness in both eyes with 2200 visual acuity or less, certain severe burns, the loss of use of 1 lower extremity, foot or leg after September 11th, 2001, which makes it so you can't balance or walk without the help of braces, crutches, cane, or a wheelchair. And here's my take on it. If you're not quite sure, reach out. Have the conversation and see what the VA says. It says here there are only 120 veterans and service members each fiscal year that can qualify for a grant based on loss of 1 extremity after September 11th, 2001 is set by Congress. A fiscal year runs from October 1st to September 30th, the fiscal year. If you qualify for a grant in the current fiscal year, but you can't receive it because of the 120 grant limit, you may be able to receive this benefit in future years. How much funding does the SAH grant offer? Now, this is the biggest one of them. The next one is the SHA, so the Special Home Adaptation. But the SAH, the Specially Adapted Housing, you can get up to $121,812 for fiscal year 2025. This is the current total maximum amount allowed for SAH grants. And moving on, now we're going to go to the SHA, the Special Home Adaptation. So can you get that type? Well, you may be able to get an SAH grant if you're using the grant money to buy, build, or change your permanent home. Same criteria, right? It's just a smaller job, we'll say. And you have to meet both of these, right? You or a family member own or will own the home. So this one, you don't necessarily need to own it, but a family member can. So let's say that you're living with your children, you're living with your parents, whatever it is, and you have a disability that qualifies you, this can still happen for you. Qualifying service-connected disabilities include the loss or loss of use of both hands, certain severe burns, certain respiratory or breathing injuries. How much funding does the SHA, Special Home Adaptation Grant offer? Well, if you can get this one, it can get you up to $24,405 for fiscal 2025. This is the current total maximum amount allowed for SHA grants. Now, would you have to use the total grant amount in the year? No. If you're eligible for an SAH or SHA grant, you can use the money from your grant up to 6 different times over your lifetime. Depending on the adaptations you need and the bid from your builder, you can use as much or as little of your grant as you need this year. If you don't use the full amount, you can use more money from the grant in future years. So you get granted the full amount. Then what you use, you get up to 6 times to dip into it until it's gone. We may adjust the total maximum amount each year based on the cost of construction. You may receive up to the current total maximum amount for the last year you use the grant. Grant eligibility for a temporary home. Here's the third one, the TRA, Temporary Residence Adaptation. Now, you may be able to get a TRA grant if you're using the grant money to change a family member's home where you are living and you meet both of these requirements. You're living temporarily in a family member's home that needs changes to meet your needs. You don't have to own the house, and you qualify for the SAH or SHA grant. How much funding does TRA grant offer? Well, if you qualify for the SAH grant, you can get up to $49,000, $49,062 through the TRA grant for fiscal 2025. If you qualify for the SHA grant, you can get up to $8,760 through the TRA grant program for fiscal year 2025. So some great opportunities here to get the home you're in to meet your needs. So with that, thanks for watching. I appreciate you very much. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.